and welcome to The Walking Dead All-Out War, the Prelude to Woodbury Part 1. The dead has begun to rise and Brian needs a place to hide. He decides to make his way to his parents' empty townhouse to wait for rescue. He stops to scavenge for food on the way, but he's not the only one that's hungry. Well, we got to define a 10 by 10 playing area. As there's no scenery, we'll use the barriers in the cars to define that area. Just to keep it nice and simple. And there we go. And that should do it. The next thing we need to put down, the supply tokens. This mission needs 3 supply tokens, so one in the top right hand corner, one in the top left hand corner, and one dead center along the middle. So if we just measure it out here, it's about there. That should do it. And we need 3 walkers. The first one goes right in the middle, in front of that supply counter. And the next 2 go each side, exactly halfway down. And there we go. And last but not least, we need Brian Blake. And Brian Blake will go in the middle at the bottom. And there he is. That's our play area for part 1. Okay, now we need the event cards. That's not all of them. Hold on a minute. Yeah, that's better. Now, I want to take one out. I'm looking for alarm. There it is. I don't want this one in play at the moment because it sets a car alarm going. There is no cars. So we'll skip that out. We'll shuffle these up. And there's our event. We'll have the Walker reference card close at hand. And we need our character card. So there he is, Brian Blake. We'll put him down. We'll put the health token on his 5. So he's got full life at this moment in time. Right, we need the threat counter. We'll stick that up in the top right corner because there's not enough room on the screen. And it starts at 1. And now the kill zone template. It's going to come in handy. And the supply cards. We'll give them a quick shuffle. And we'll chuck them down as well. And there we go. We're ready to get going. Our objective for this mission is to collect the 3 supply tokens and stay alive. So we're going to start by running 8 inches towards the top left supply counter. Because that makes noise, the walker closest to us is going to come straight at us. And that ends our action phase. And now it's the event phase. Nobody else is in the kill zone range. So we got an event card. And we have the Walking Dead. So straight away, we've got to put +2 to the threat. We're now up to threat level 3, but that's still low threat. So 2 red dice, 1 walker enters play and moves straight towards the closest survivor. As it's solo, I get to choose where he enters play, but he then walks 6 inches straight towards me. And that is the end of the event phase. And now melee phase. Because we're in melee, the threat goes up by 1 again. Now Brian gets to fight back. 1 white dice, and he gets a 1, and 1 walker is 1 red dice, and that's a blank. So we don't kill the walker, but we do push her back and knock her over. And now it's the end phase. So we've got a prone walker, we've got to roll the dice on a shield, the walker gets back up. And that's the end of turn 1. So beginning of turn 2, the threat tracker goes up by 1. And now it's our action. So I'm going to move Brian, sneak him into the corner, and search the supply crate. So what do we get? Some bandages. Okay, and that's the end of my action phase. So now it's the event phase again. Nobody inside the kill zone, so we'll just grab an event card. And we have Pandemonium. So that's +1 to our threat tracker. But we're now up to 6, which is still low threat. Roll blue dice and move that many eligible walkers towards the nearest survivor. And then white dice walkers enter play. So we got 2 walkers that got moved near me. And an extra one that is going to enter play. Right, so the closest to... Well, she's definitely the closest, and I think the yellow one is slightly closer, though I would have preferred to move the one in the middle. But there we go. And the extra walker that has to enter play. Again, I get to put him wherever I like. Not all the way in the corner. Yeah, that'll do. Well, that's the end of the event phase, and now we move on to the melee phase. As we're in combat, that's +1 to the threat. Now, Brian Blake is in melee with multiple walkers, so I think I'm going to use his defense dice. I can't beat him in combat, but I get 2 red dice. And here we go. So, I've still only got 1. And now 2 walkers get 3 dice in attack. They got 2. That means they've caused a wound. And now we need to move them an inch apart. As I really can't go off the board, I'm just going to have to move the walkers down a little bit. And then it'll be the end phase. No walkers get up. I haven't completed the conditions to win. So, turn 3. Threat tracker goes up by 1 again. My first action will be to sneak towards the middle supply counter. There we go. And my second action will be to search it. As hopefully we'll get something good. Let's have a look. We got a tire iron, so now I get 2 white dice in attack rather than the 1. Now it's the event turn. We got to check the kill zone. That walker is in. That walker isn't, so we'll just move the 1 walker into combat with Brian Blake. And we'll pick an event card. We are still on low threat just, so what we got? Feed in Frenzy. Roll the shield dice. If I get a shield, I lose health because I am in combat. So let's get this roll done. And I've lost some health, so now I'm down to 3. And that is the end of the event phase. So now we're moving on to the melee phase, which puts our threat tracker up by 1 as we are in combat. But I do have the tire iron, so I get 2 white dice to attack with. And I still only roll 1. The walker has 1 red dice to defend. It's a tie. I have the initiative. I push the walker back. Nothing to do in the end phase, so turn 4. Which puts the threat tracker up by 1. Now my first action is going to sneak to the final supply crate. And then I'm going to search it. So what have I got? We got an ammo reload. Well, that's it. I have won this game as long as I survive till the end of this turn. So it really all comes down to the event card, because nobody is in the kill zone. And here we go. We are going to get frayed nerves. Medium threat. Yep. 1 model with low or medium nerve of the player's choice creates mayhem. If there are no eligible models, add 1 to the threat level. Well, that's +1 to the threat level, because mayhem causes threat anyway. So it has all come down to this final turn. Mayhem makes every walker within 10 inches shamble straight towards the person causing mayhem. So they're all within 10 inches. Yes, they are. So they all shamble 6 inches straight towards Brian. So let's see how many manage to get into base contact. There's 1. And that's number 2. I do believe the other one on the left here is out of range. Yeah, won't make it. but the other one in the middle should. So there'll be 3 walkers in base contact with Brian. And +1 threat because beginning of the mini phase. And here we go. Right, it all comes down to this. I get 2 white dice, and that's a 4 and a crit, ideal. And now, yeah, 1 walker gets 1, second walker gets 2, third walker gets 3. This is how being surrounded by walkers can become a problem. We'll use the tray for this roll. So, they need to beat 4. Let's see what they get. And they did beat 4, they got 5. So they did 1 more damage, which puts my health down to 2. They did get a crit, but the bite rule isn't in effect in part 1 of the Prelude to Woodbury, thankfully. So what's that? 4 turns and the threat level is already at 12? I'll just push these back so we finish the turn properly. And getting surrounded by walkers becomes very dangerous. But I hope you enjoyed this. That was part 1, and I'll see you for part 2.